all of the courtroom dramas, and the bigger question we're trying to ask, or we are going to be asking, is what does this case tell us about the future of digital copyright enforcement in Nigeria? Is this a turning point in protecting creative works, or a signal that Nigeria must rethink how digital content is distributed and monetized? So let's take a closer look. When we talk about sites like NetNaija, we can't ignore that they have become part of our everyday life as Nigerians. And it's not just about laziness or piracy, it's about accessibility for people. A lot of people cannot afford Showmax. I'm not calling some particular names because I mean negative about it, but I'm just trying to give an instance that a lot of people cannot afford some paid to air TV anymore. Some people cannot afford free to air anymore. Just like Showmax, just like Prime Video, and all of these other digital streaming platforms. So what some of these downloading platforms does, like NetNaija and all of those things, brings accessibility to many Nigerians. And we've seen a lot of people turn to this platform because streaming services are often too expensive, they're simply unavailable sometimes. And if we think about it very well, Netflix, Amazon, it was Netflix I was trying to remember, Netflix, Showmax, Amazon Prime, all of these things, they exist in Nigeria. A lot of people know about them, but a lot of people can't afford subscriptions for them, especially in states outside Lagos, Abuja, and all of these other places. Take people in the rural area. How do you think they can get access to movies? And it is not only about money. Sometimes some of the content that people want just isn't there. So what Nollywood, if we take a look at the Nollywood terrain, we see that Nollywood produces rather thousands of films a year. But the distribution channels, the cinemas, legal streaming services, all of these things don't cover for everything. Even going back to producers of movies, not all of them can afford to take their movies to some certain streaming platform. So they just go to the one they know that they can easily, get their movie on and, distribute to people. And what most of this NetNaija, Inkiri, and all of these downloading platforms have done, they have sort of filled that gap. They have become sort of that informal hub where people could, catch the latest movies, catch the latest series, and even some foreign content too are being posted there. So that's how people get across or get a hold of some of these movies or films. So while the law is very clear, I quite understand that unauthorized distribution is illegal. The case here highlights so many questions about how now do we reconcile a legal framework with a culture where digital access is essential and often informal. We have to start asking ourselves all of these questions, because this is a clash between legal ideas and should I say practical realities that millions of Nigeria face daily. So I don't think the case now should be about who to take to court. It's about how can we reconcile digital access for millions of Nigeria. We should think how we can, if this platform is there providing accessibility for a wide number of people, a wide number of Nigerians, let's look for a way to reconcile with them legally. Let's give them that legal authority. Let's give them that legal backing and say, okay, go ahead with it. And now, looking at, when we talk about enforcement from regulators, if we're looking at the action taken by the Nigeria Copyright Commission, there's a very strong message there when I look at it. They aren't just targeting small-scale infringers. They went straight to a major platform with a wide national reach. And that tells us something about strategy. It means they are looking to send sort of a clear signal to about the Copyright Act of 2022. They are trying to tell us that, okay, this right still exists, which is good. And I also think this is significant because enforcement has been, sort of inconsistent for a very long time now. And you could have platforms operating openly, yet nobody is talking about what they are getting wrongly. Nobody is talking about, what they are not doing right, because authorities didn't have that reach, or maybe even the will or to sort of intervene. But now, with this kind of high-profile case, we are seeing a shift. It's almost more like a reminder to anyone running digital platforms that you have to get legal backings rather. Anyone running digital platforms in Nigeria, this is bringing to their awareness that there are legal consequences to these things, and these consequences are real, and that copyright laws are being taken more seriously than ever before. So before you start running an online streaming platform, go through the right channels, do the right things you need to do. But and there's also a but to this, and this but is very important, because strong enforcement isn't always very simple. We need the technical capacity to carry out with this, the understanding of the digital ecosystem, and also the clear processes, and also, like I said before, accessibility, making it cheaper and accessible, because we'll continue risking that should I say we'll continue risking creating more tension between regulators and the public, because this is what the public wants. This is what, the public can get easily. And you are not coming out to tell them that, oh, you're sort of bringing this platform down, or you're taking the owner of this platform to court. And the public may see this as a very heavy-handed, consequence, and as if you are disconnecting them from the actual, how should I put it, from actually assessing content. So people may actually take it the wrong way, in as much as legal actions is important. Copyright, laws is very important.
Copyright regulatory is very, very important, because a lot of people have come out to cry and to beg that people are copying their things without authorization, and it has brought a lot of losses to them. Just imagine you as a creator, you have gone through the stress, you've gone through the thinking and all of that, and you come out with a beautiful production just for someone else that didn't go through any of the stress to just copy it off and make you start losing the money you're supposed to make from that. Is actually a nice one that the regulation is coming in as much as they are trying to regulate that. I would say that it's a nice one for me, because this would protect content creators, filmmakers, music producers. At least if you're going for someone's content, you should have the authorization. You should go through the legal process, so people will stop stealing other people's content, and everybody can be in check, everybody can be in shape, would know that Nigeria before is not Nigeria that you know. We are now coming out with some regulations that would keep us balanced and will keep us in check. If you feel you're interested in another person's content and you feel the work is very, very nice to you, you should go through the right process rather than going from the back. That can also consider to be stealing. So I believe this is the right thing to do, and a lot of producers will be happy about it. But at the same time, they should make it more affordable for people to actually access, because making it very strict or stricter would draw a lot of people, and these content creators and music producers would also start coming out to cry again for the second time to say, oh, they cannot access it because of this, because of that. So we should try and balance up so that everything would be very balanced. Both the producers and the watchers, should I say the receivers and the receivee, I don't know how to put it, should all be balanced so that this can actually work for both sides.
Yeah, very well said, Mary. Just to add to that, and these industries we very well know that our music industry, our film industries are massive contributors to Nigeria's GDP. And in case we don't know, exactly, let's know this now. Nollywood alone is worth around $10 billion annually. So when films are shared without proper licensing, just like you've clearly stated, when films are, most of these creators, they will lose that potential revenue that could add to themselves and also to the GDP of the country, not just from ticket sales, but also from all of this streaming online, the royalties they will get from it, and also international licensing. I want to cite an example of what I usually see on the internet. There's this kind of content that is trending. I don't know what kind of content is that. I don't know if it has a name. You see people carry another person's content, and then the original owner of that social media handle or page will just be reacting to a certain video, and they'll just be nodding their heads while another person's content is playing, and that's content for them.
Yes.
You see a lot of followings, you know. Some people have even taken some of these pages as the pages they go to get original content. If you are not how should I put it? If you are not using that as a reference point for maybe something you want to talk about, then I don't see any reason why you carry somebody's content as your own content. You are not saying anything. You are just making facial expressions. You're just making gestures, nodding your head, and you'll be pointing. Why somebody's content is, you know, playing. A lot of content creators too have come out to complain about that, about some other self-acclaimed content creators using their works and all of these things. So I think that will bring all of these people to this, rather will bring all of these people to, you know, books. So and from the perspectives of someone like a filmmaker or maybe even a musician, I think this isn't just even a legal issue for them. It's also about survival and growth, because this is their source of livelihood, their source of living. This is where they get most of their earnings. So a strong copyright enforcement can protect creators. It will also, in turn, ensure that they get paid for their work and also reinvest in better productions. Sometimes we tend to fault our creators and say, oh, they are not doing it like the Oyinbo people. They are not doing it like the days. They are not doing this one. They are not investing more time. They are not investing more money. You know, they are not investing more days, more days. They only shoot films in a week. They are trying to cut costs because they do not have enough money. It is the money they generate from what they have made that they will use to go and, you know, invest in another production. And if we keep pirating their works, you know, stealing other people's content, you know, and all of those things, how will they get money from the work they have produced? They wouldn't get money, so they can reinvest back in. We have to understand that content creation, filmmaking, I'm generalizing it now. Content creation, I mean filmmaking, I mean music, and all of those things. All are still content creation. All of these are you know, how should I put it? They are sources of livelihood. They require a lot of creative processes, and these creative processes involves money. We should understand that. And yes, what I was going to say before I lost my train of thought is that there are businesses. We think film making, all of these things are just entertainment. Musicians just got out there to entertain. In as much as they are set out to entertain you, it's also a business for them.
Yes.
And if you do not understand the business, or if something alters the business in the process, it will, you know, affect even what the output. It will affect what they are going to give back, you know, to you. And however, just on the flip side too, I feel if this enforcement, I feel like if this enforcement is too strict as well, it could unintentionally limit audience access. So that's why I started off saying strongly with, if we point out a problem, if we identify a problem, rather, let's go and dig deeper and know why this problem exists, so that we can be able to, you know, find the solutions. I've never seen a problem that the solution is not therein, that the solution is not lying in the problem. There's always solution when you find a problem. So we should think of younger viewers, think of students, think of people who cannot. Nigeria's poverty rate is still high. We're in 2026, but it is still high. A lot of people who cannot afford subscriptions of hundreds of thousands of naira. That hundreds of thousands of naira is not even up to some people's salary. That is for subscriptions for Netflix and whatnot. And that's why people are sharing logins here and there for Netflix. But then I think they could, you know, that's why I said they should be careful with how this enforcement goes, because they could further push into all of this, push people rather into all of these illegal avenues. And you know, Nigerians, they always find another way to, you know, shortcuts with so many things. So it's a delicate, we just need a delicate balance here. Protect creators, but don't stifle audience engagement. What I mean is that provide cheaper, accessible ways for them to, still get to view what they want to view, or limit the growth of, or if not, we're just going to sort of, how should I put it, limit the growth of the creative economy itself. Because when we talk about the creative economy, it's very, very wide. And also, you spoke very well about digital access, and this is really where the conversations gets very tricky. Still going back to accessibility, still going back to making sure that we provide what is necessary for people, because we need to start asking ourselves, should copyright laws force, focus solely on just protecting works, or should they also protect, how should I put it, should they also consider the social realities of access? And I'm emphasizing on this access because in Nigeria, millions of people, like I said before, students, so millions of people, they rely on a free and low-cost digital content for entertainment, for education, and for cultural engagement. So we have to, if the government is thinking of clamping down without creating affordable legal alternatives, then we are still going to risk alienating a large segment of the population. We are still going to risk going back to the same problem. We are still going to be in this circle. So at the same time, we shouldn't, I'm not saying we should ignore copyright completely. We shouldn't ignore copyright completely, because it's going to undermine the value of creative works. Yes. As we are putting copyright in place, we should also find other legal alternatives to make sure that everywhere is balanced. Personally, I think this is where the innovation has to come in. If we are talking about innovation, with this, it means you have to start thinking of creative ways we can create accessibility for people. Legal streaming services. They could begin to explore flexible, pricing models for people, or they should begin to think of how to work with NetNaija to ensure that works that have been approved is what should be posted on their platform. And at this, how should I even put it? At the same time, also they should think of partnering with telecom providers to think of all of these things, all of these ad-supported platforms, just find a way to just make this content more accessible for people. Like I said before, we'll just end up with this enforcement, and which is not what we want. But then looking at what the future of online platforms hold for this, because when we talk about innovation will not even come to without its own challenges. Exactly. Or we'll just look for ways to go around those challenges, and we have to think about what this means for the digital platform, because this all talk about copyright, and whatnot. If NetNaija case results in, stricter enforcement, we could also see that domino effect on other website hosting too. That's why I said it's not just about NetNaija. It's for them to explore ways on how they can, partner with other web hosting downloadable platforms for movies, for music, for series. They should just rethink their operations rather than shutting them down. I don't know why I'm advocating for this seriously. Maybe because I use them, but I just feel like it could be a turning point. This is the innovative aspect of it. It could be a turning point for the Nigeria digital ecosystem, because we are looking for that large pool, that wide pool of, where people can have access to different options. We should not be relegated to just one or a few others. We should have access. We should have a choice. We should have choices rather. And most of this, we should, even if we sort of regulate these platforms, these downloadable platforms, I think we may also think of, thinking of shifting to subscription-based, models that we have with other platforms to them as well. Maybe people can begin to subscribe to theirs for lower cost instead of just downloading it. So in that way, everybody can earn what they need to, earn. I think that's the positive perspective I'm trying to bring to the creative economy. Let's look at it from this lens. What I see from here altogether is just the broader picture about this is just that it's not just about courts. It's how we can think of regulating, how regulators rather can think of redefining how content is being shared online, how creators can be protected, and how audience engage with digital entertainment over the years and in the coming years, for something that will be cost effective, something that will not rip people off. But I think that's the much we have for today. Omeri, do you have something you want to share before?
Yeah, the only thing I want to say, like you mentioned, that they should create a pool where everybody can drink from.
Exactly.
Let it be a balanced something, because in as much as people are going for the copyrights, everybody wants to earn at the end of the day. Everybody wants to make money. Nobody wants to sit an island. So they should create a platform where everybody can actually benefit from. You benefit, I benefit. It's a win-win case, and we move from there.
Okay. Let's think about shaping the future. It's a win-win case, just as Mary have said. But that's the much we can bring your way on the discussion segment. But up next will be What's Trending. Stay with us.
Toyin, have you heard of Idea TV?
Yes, it is a specialized TV station, the first innovation television in Africa.
Oh, thank you. That's exciting, Am. IDEA is an interesting name, Harry.
IDEA stands for Innovation Development and Entrepreneurship Africa. Even the normal meaning of idea is aligned to its work.
That's so cool. Nigeria and Africa needs this.
Correct. It's something special. It simplifies and brings science and technology to Africans.
Oh, exactly. We need this.
It sounds informative and educational. It is different from Nollywood, entertainment, and political TV.
I agree with you. It's so different. Instead of too much politics, it focuses on government policies that support development and their implementation.
Instead of too much showbiz, it presents technologies that support them.
I am excited. What are their key areas of focus?
IDEA TV focuses on research, innovation, science, technology, entrepreneurship, and related education and policies to the benefit of society.
Let's go and make more research about Idea TV.